The productivity you think you're gaining from multitasking is an illusion. Multitasking makes you less productive and contributes to burnout, fatigue, and stress. Yet, in a world of constant change and ever-increasing demands, it feels as though we have no choice but to multitask. In this video, the fifth of our series, Employees' Guide to Thriving During Organizational Change, I want to share with you why multitasking is an illusion, what you can do instead, and 3 strategies that will help you reduce the detrimental effects of multitasking and thrive during constant change. Stay tuned. For years, I wore multitasking, the ability to multitask, like a badge of honor. I even chided my husband for not being able to do multiple things simultaneously. That is, until I began to understand how much multitasking was decreasing my productivity, adding to my stress, and inhibiting my ability to think and make decisions. The authors of The Leading Brain state, rather than promoting productivity, multitasking undermines it. It can make tasks take 50% longer and with 50% more mistakes. A study at Stanford University found that people who regularly multitask across several streams of electronic information don't pay attention, can't control their memory or complete tasks as well as people who focus on completing one task at a time. Their research showed that despite the belief that almost all multitaskers have that they are good at it, they're not. In every test, the researchers found that the multitaskers consistently underperformed non-multitaskers. The multitaskers were frequently distracted, their memory was disorganized, and they struggled to filter information to identify what was relevant to the current task they were working on. Multitasking also increases stress and a sense of overwhelm. To understand why multitasking increases stress, it's helpful to explore what's happening in the brain when you think you're multitasking. Our brain doesn't multitask. The term multitasking came from IT. It was used to describe a computer's capability to run 2 operations simultaneously, like email and word processing programs. But despite the analogies that we use often to compare our human brain to a computer, even I often refer to our hard wiring, our brain is not a computer, nor does it function like a computer. Our brains can't perform 2 tasks that require the same mental functioning at the same time. It's true we can breathe, digest our food, and keep our heart beating all at the same time. But that's not multitasking, or at least it's not multitasking the way it's perceived or bragged about in our organizations or in our culture. Multitasking refers to any task, thinking and reasoning that requires you to engage your prefrontal cortex or your executive center of the brain. This is the area of the brain that's responsible for planning, thinking, learning, and decision-making. It is your rational center, and it can't multitask. For example, you may think you're driving the car and talking on the phone at the same time. That's not what is happening in your brain. Your brain is switching from one task to another, and this switching comes at a high cost. Each time that you switch from one task to another, you diminish your ability to pay attention and complete any task. Multitasking makes it harder to filter out distractions, making it difficult to decide what's important and what's not. One study found that participants who multitasked experienced drops in IQ to the average level of an 8-year-old child. Multitasking also increases cortisol and that fight or flight hormone adrenaline, increasing your stress response. As a result, people who multitask can feel overstimulated and experience mental fog or scrambled thinking, that sense of overwhelm and not really accomplishing anything. It also affects your ability to learn. Neuroscientist Russ Poldrack from Stanford University found that learning information while multitasking causes the new information to go to the wrong part of the brain, making it difficult to retain and retrieve the new information. So instead of boosting productivity, if you're sending a few emails while attending that virtual course or in a meeting or watching TV while you're studying, you hinder your learning and you will require more time to acquire those desired skills and knowledge. Here are 3 strategies that can help you reduce the detrimental effects of multitasking and thrive during change. Strategy number 1, awareness. The first step in breaking the cycle of multitasking and reducing the stress that comes with it is becoming aware of when and how many times you multitask in any given day. Start by noticing when you're toggling back and forth between 2 or more activities. Maybe you're talking on the phone and scanning your email at the same time. Then pause and notice what distracted you. Why were you distracted? And what were you feeling at that point? Becoming aware of when and why I multitask was a big aha moment for me. One of the most significant breakthroughs was the impact that awareness had on my writing. I noticed that within a short time, I would find myself down an internet rabbit hole that I often rationalized as research, or I got engaged in other tasks. What I realized is that all that multitasking made writing feel more complex, and it appeared to take more time than it did. As a result, I often procrastinated, thinking I didn't have enough time to get things done, which only created and reinforced the cycle. With the awareness that I developed, I could develop strategies to prevent and minimize multitasking. So in addition to setting a timer, which I'll talk about in just a minute, disabling the notifications, I scheduled time for exploring those internet rabbit holes as part of the writing process. Strategy number 2, allocate time and turn off your distractions. I get it. Sometimes you don't feel in control of your time or your work. Others have expectations and they set priorities for your time and your attention. Time blocking is a technique that can assist you in reducing or eliminating multitasking. That's what helped one colleague. She was inundated with emails, requests, and interruptions from her team and others. Because she wanted to support and mentor her team, she had created a narrative and a story that felt that she had to be available and respond immediately to their requests, concerns, or their emails. As a result, she was really feeling overwhelmed. Through our coaching, she collaborated with her team to redefine response times and expectations, while also clarifying decision-making. She established designated focus periods throughout the day for herself. Initially, these were very brief, and she remained available for emergencies. But gradually, she was able to expand some of the time that she could block for specific tasks that she needed to get done. The result was that her stress level went down. She felt more productive, and her team developed a greater confidence in their ability to problem solve and their leadership. Strategy number 3, pause, reflect, and prioritize. One of the reasons many people say, me included, they multitask is that they have so many activities. Multitasking feels like the solution to get more done. However, as we've already explored, it's just an illusion. Instead of trying to accomplish multiple tasks simultaneously, at the beginning and throughout the day, make time, pause, reflect, and ask yourself, what is the most important activity to work on today or at this moment? Then work on that task and only that task for whatever time you have set for that task. The value of pausing throughout the day between tasks to reflect and ask that question is that it reduces the sense of overwhelm and allows you to assess the next steps more accurately. These small moments of reflection enable your mind and body to re-energize. Multitasking is a habit. Breaking the cycle of multitasking is possible, and doing so will help you gain a greater sense of balance and stability and decrease stress during change. However, like most changes, it takes some effort, especially if, like I was, you're a long-time multitasker. Despite its detrimental effects, multitasking creates a dopamine feedback loop, meaning you get a hit of dopamine, the reward hormone, each time you lose focus. As Daniel Levitin, author of The Organized Brain, states, each time we multitask, we train our brain to lose focus and get distracted. Therefore, we need to retrain our brains to focus. If you would like to help your employees and organization thrive during change, reach out and let's have a conversation about bringing our stress management for change program to your organization. And if you haven't seen the first 4 videos in this series, I'll put those links in the show notes below. All right. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you soon.